Oh, boys, it is so cold. It is bone cold out here in the Arctic tundra, out on the frozen wastelands out behind Geelong. I tell it is that bloody cold out here. It's not funny. I am Rich of the Armchair Advisors. Now, we are here to talk about round 13 of this AFL season 2021. For those of you who have just stumbled across this show, if it's on the podcast or the YouTube, wherever you happen to be, we will be discussing every game of round 13. We'll be telling you who's going to win and why. We're going to be telling you who's not playing well enough and who needs to pull their socks up, who you should be looking out for to have an absolute blinder, and if you've got a few little shekels, if you've got any of ScoMo's cash payments lying around that you haven't spent yet, we'll be telling you a few markets that you can keep your peepers open for to chuck a few clams onto. So first things first, like and subscribe. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do us a solid, do us a favour. We love it because we're just three little men who sit outside in the cold, freezing our cojones off to bring you the freshest and chillest AFL related content week in, week out. As I said, I am Rich, and it's no show without punch. It's no smoke without fire. It's no shiver without shake. It is Sensible Dan. How are you, mate?
Well, I've got to be honest, mate. I was feeling quite cool this week. I mean, as the viewers can see and those listening on the pod, we're outside in the frozen tundras behind Geelong. And it is cool.
It is.
Currently at no fixed address. And I was sitting around the campfire drinking a furphy. And these three packages rocked up.
Interesting.
And they contain these delightful creations.
Ooh.
These are from our friends at The Furzy on Instagram, at The Furzy. They're brilliant. They're just warm hugs.
They're unreal.
They're
unreal.
They're so
I love
good. And so since we've all put it on, I haven't felt the cold one bit.
I'm so happy.
That at the start of the pod, all acting.
Yeah,
acting.
Genuine. But like, we're not cold at all. These are I've got cuffs. I've got pockets. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I've never been this toasty.
Absolutely. How do you feel about them, Des? You feel like you like them?
This is unreal. I've just went to the Alps and I've sheared a polar bear like a sheep, right? And then I've literally got this for show because I love polar bears.
Hang on. You went to the Alps and sheared a polar bear?
Yeah, from Geelong.
Correct.
From the back streets of Geelong.
So I've went and sheared my polar bear, right? With my Furzy on. My Furzy, F-U-R-Z-Y, The Furzy. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook. But I don't even need the polar bear. This is literally just for status. This is just for my own status.
Well, I thought it was for like camouflage because this is of course our global field correspondent Desmond Van Bus, whereas myself and Dan, we just sit out here, we're just warm and we just talk footy. This man gets amongst the local populace. He disguises himself amongst the native flora and fauna of whichever life forms he happens to be living amongst for the week. And it seems like this week, apparently he has, quote, gone to the Alps and shaved a polar bear.
That is true. In my donut Furzy. Shout out. I love my donut Furzy.
No, these are unreal. And if you're worried that we have sold out hard and become corporate flax, you are absolutely spot on. But don't feel bad. Look, if L'Oreal wants to give us a call and wants to feature some mascara, I will paint that man's face right there with as much mascara as you can get on. We'll get done for blackface. That's how much mascara I'm going to put on that man. I'll do anything. Literally anything.
Sell our souls.
So shout out to Furzy because these things are unbelievable. If you jump on Furzy on the Instagram or the Facebook page, get in touch with them. Use the code ARMCHAIR10, ARMCHAIR10. That's ARMCHAIR10. Get yourself a little discount on the Furzy. Tell them Rich sent you.
Absolutely. Free shipping anywhere in Australia. Yeah. And every single time you buy one, a tree gets planted.
That's true. That is true. And it's currently their winter warmth sale. So get in now.
Absolutely. Get around it.
We have been merciless at selling our souls, and I bloody love it. But I
love it.
Let's get into chatting some footy, fellas. We've got a packed slate here for round 13. It is Thursday night at the Adelaide Oval, thankfully. They've now decided that it's at the Adelaide Oval. It is the Port Adelaide Power versus the Geelong Cats. Now, Sensible Dan, you are a sensible man. You love some sensible stats. You love telling us who's going to win and why. Talk to me here, fella.
Right. Nothing more needs to be said other than Geelong's post-buy record. Since 2012, do you know what their post-buy record is, Des?
And however many years.
You're wrong, because it's 1-8. But that's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. They got over the Bombers last year by 66 points to get the one win in the Dubs column, but slightly different opposition on Thursday night. Port Adelaide also coming off the bye, feeling nice and fresh. And Geelong's in a bit of a lockdown this week as well, getting ready for the game, and that's got to be affecting your mental state a little bit. They are expecting a lot of changes this week. A few guys coming back into the team, but I have got Port winning 1-39 here.
I got a little poem for Port because Geelong are currently we're gonna flip the script. They're 8 losses and 1 win. That makes them 8-1.
Yep.
I would 8-2 be Port because I'm gonna quickly sneak this one through you guys. It's the Des Dog of the Week, baby. It's the Furzy Des Dog of the Week, baby. Woo! Cat's gonna do it. They have been playing such better footy, and do you know what? I think Cat's forward line is going to be way too potent. Who's going to stop them? They're too big.
Yeah, but
They're too big. Good luck, Alira. You can't mark up on 3 big players.
But the Cats just hate having a week off, mate. They just don't like taking time off. They're the most diligent workers in the country.
It doesn't matter. 8-2. I would 8 to be Port right now. Port haven't been playing that great of footy.
8 to be Port.
Because 8-2, that's going to be their record. 8 losses and 2 wins since 2012.
Terrible.
Nah, Catters are going to do it here. They're going to play crisp footy. That's exactly the type of footy that Port hate because that's the type of footy that everyone beats Port with, crisp footy. Freo showed that. I know they put Freo didn't win, but Freo come back a fair bit. Freo come back a lot more than they should have on Port's home deck. I know Port might have kicked their feet up, chucked the Furzy on, but guess what? Freo still come back and Freo aren't that good from crisp footy. That's what the Cats are going to do. Cats 1-39. It'll be a close game, I reckon.
Before we turn it over to Rich, Port going into the bye had one of the worst injury lists in the whole AFL. Now, a couple of weeks off, they'll be feeling a little bit better for themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't like the Cats in this situation.
No.
Rich?
Howdy do. Look, let's have a yarn. Power obliterated Freo prior to the bye, but as you said, I suspect there was a little bit of cue in the rack and fucking, there you go, Duck, and I'm done with it here. Whereas the Cats limped to, a 10-point win over the Pies at the G, and that was one of the most disgusting 10-point wins I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a couple. Let me tell you a few things about the Cats. They've got Duncan coming back. They've got Guthrie coming back. Okay, that's 2 giant ins into the midfield right there. Patrick Dangerfield is squeezing his ring inside out to get back into that team, and if he's 95% right, he'll play. He'll play, no doubt. So that's 3 potentially big ins right there. Fantasia injured on the other hand, so it's possibly a little bit of a hole in Port's forward line, I should say. Does Bergman come in? Potentially. Does Woodcock come in?
Yeah, I would love to see Splinter Dick.
We would love a bit of splintery Duzras coming back into the side. Absolutely. Look, it's interesting. You talk about the Cats with their boogie after the bye. So they're 1-8. I'll give you another stat. In their last 15 games against each other, Port and the Cats, Port have won 3, Cats have won 12. Does that sway you at all?
Cats do love a big win at the Adelaide Oval. I do vividly remember Geelong always coming over and getting a dub over Port. Makes me feel even better.
And if there's the 5 changes as well that we're expecting, that's a lot of change for one team.
It is a lot of change for one team.
What are you tipping then?
I'm going Port 1-39. I think being at home, having that certainty. Saw an interview with Tommy Jonas today. He said the boys all went on a massissive bye
Bender
round. They went on a golfing trip. They went on a big golfing trip. And he said there was a lot of bonding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they're fresh. They're at home. They're coming in. Cats have got some ins, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won, but you can only tip one team, and I'm tipping Port's 1-39. Power win, though, if they maintain the rage. So we saw them have an absolutely raging first quarter against Freo. If they maintain that sort of intensity over 4 quarters, they'll beat anyone. They'll beat Geelong, they'll beat Melbourne, they'll beat anyone. Correct. So maintain that and don't rely on your old heads if you're Port Adelaide. Too much do we see Boak and Wines doing all the heavy lifting in the midfield, and I want to see, like Power Pepper, like Amon, I want to see these blokes continue to keep coming on and getting the job done.
Correct.
For Geelong can win if they just don't panic. Back in your structure. If you get a few goals down, don't let the heads drop down. Stay involved in the game. You saw them sort of float out a little bit in that Collingwood game Big 2 time. Weeks ago, and they would have been in serious trouble had Collingwood, fielded a football team that day. But don't panic. Back your structure, and for God's sake, be accurate in front of goal.
Geelong have been big time disinterested by the lower teams. Like they've just been really disinterested.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that doesn't worry me because
they like to do just enough.
Port aren't a lower team. That's the thing. They're not. So when they're playing against these bigger sides, they've been showing up. That's my
correct.
That's my 2 cents.
You make a good point. You make a very good point. Do you have any bets for a sensible Dan?
I do. I love the under in this game. Love the under. Currently set at 157. Last 9 between the Cats and Port have gone under, so I'm expecting that to go.
It's supposed to be a cold one with potential rain as well in Adelaide. It's been horrible weather.
So 157.5. If it's going to be wet, get on it now.
Yep.
And also Guthrie 30 plus. I think he just comes in and walks for 30 disposals. It doesn't really matter even if he's carrying a shoulder injury or not. He'll just get it done.
Mate, the Hermit Guthrie. Homeless Guthrie puts 30 disposals in his bindle and his stick, and he puts it on his shoulder, and away he goes.
Certainly does.
Run.
Now, I do like a same-game multi. You know me, I like a same-game multi.
First time hearing of it, but all right.
Excuse-moi. Look, I'm looking at Brad Close anytime goal. He let me down 2 weeks back against the Pies, but then again, the entire team did, so I don't really see too much into that.
Back home, baby, though. He's back home. SA boy.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know he was an SA boy. That's cool.
Indeed. So, look, Brad Close, anytime goal. I'm looking at Robbie Gray, anytime goal. He loves a big game, and no bigger than Geelong on a Thursday night. Mm-hmm. And then I'm looking at Carl Amon and Brandon Parfitt, two of those young boys that have been kicking away a bit for their respective teams, to have 20 touches apiece. And Mitch Duncan, if he's back in, and especially if Danger's not in, 25 touches, he'll do that easy. All of those together is paying about $7.
Parfitt worries me a little bit only because of the ins. If they get these guys back into the midfield, he could slink back into the forward line, but
could do. But I'm just wondering if Scott backs him in a bit and says, well, you know what, you got your chance, stake your claim. You've done all right.
That's fair.
Stake your claim.
That's very fair. All right, on to the second game.
Friday night at the SCG, we're looking at the Sydney Swans versus the Hawthorn Hawks, the old foes from 2012.
2012.
The old firm. Bruce would love to call them.
It is indeed. Both sides have had a little bit of a downhill slide since then, but at least one of these teams is on the way back up. Now, Desmond Van Bus, our global field correspondent, currently wearing the fleece of a polar bear over the top of his lovely warm Furzy, that is. Mm-hmm. Who's winning this one and why, fella? What's going on?
I like watching Sydney play footy, so my comments here aren't disrespecting them as much as it may seem, but I don't think they're as good as everyone hypes them up to be. They've been winning though, and I respect that. I respect them getting on the board and winning, but they haven't been beating these teams like Carlton, teams like St Kilda. They probably shouldn't have won that St Kilda game. Let's be real. Missy Higgins should have put him away.
You can't say Missy Higgins.
Yeah, doesn't that sound familiar? As Missy Higgins would say.
Got him with the got him.
Sound familiar as Missy Higgins would say. But and Carlton, they were playing around with Carlton for what, three quarters and then put them away. Yep. Far out. Carlton are not that good. They could have put Carlton away in the first quarter if they played to their best, but luckily enough, they're rolling onto another tough team in Hawthorn who are just they can't find their feet with all these young players. Young players are injured. Some have snuck back in, but Sydney are going to win here and they're going to win big, I think.
Well, you said a tough team in Hawthorn. I think the only thing that now makes Hawthorn tough is Alistair Clarkson. That's my thoughts on this. Dan, who's winning this?
Burden, hey. I feel bad.
Well, what I was going to say was what makes them tough is what you think of Hawthorn being 6-7 years ago.
They're not your dad's Hawthorn.
Yeah, they're not. The thought still remains, but they're a long way removed from that. Yeah, I agree. Totally. Swans did not deserve to win that game. They absolutely should have lost. If St Kilda were just accurate, which they cannot do, they lose that game by probably 20, 30 points, somewhere in that ballpark. But I expect them to get the job done here. I think Hawks coming off a bye, bit average, and they're not great in the first place, but I really would like to see them continue to play some of those kids like Ned Reeves. He's looked really good.
Be awesome. That's what they should do for the rest of the year. Just do it.
You might as well. You call the rest of the season a write-off. Tom Mitchell's already sort of possibly thinking about switching to somewhere else.
Now, that chat coming out in the media about your Brownlow medal winning best midfielder bar none, at this stage of the season, the chat is about him leaving and going somewhere else. Mm-hmm. That already tells me that Hawks don't give a rat's clacker about the rest of this season. Any game in it, they're already looking at the future here.
Do you trade him?
Yeah.
Do you trade him?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell, he's 28, he's still got currency.
I wouldn't even consider it.
And to be fair, some clubs would pay through the ringer.
I
mean, if Bryce Gibbs is worth 2 first-round picks...
How many?
3?
Mitchell?
You going to get 3 for him?
Brownlow medalist.
I'd certainly be putting that out there, and that instantly drives that rebuild into.
I could even see 3 first-round picks and a player. You get a sneaky player in there too. Yep. Some handy, some young fella.
Yep. Sky's the limit. So you're tipping Sydney? I take it.
I am tipping Sydney.
Very interesting.
1 to 39 because I don't think Sydney has that killer drive at the moment to just bury teams. So
I agree.
I'm going to say 1 to 39.
It's interesting. You look at this on paper, these two sides, and the Swans have got much more talent than Hawthorn on every single line. Forwards, half forwards, midfield, the ruckman, for God's sake. Who'd have thought that Tom Hickey would be an A-grade, platinum-coated bloody ruckman?
4 times a charm.
Well, it clearly is. And look, Ned Reeves could very well become something, but at the minute, It's hickey season. It's hickey season. Hey, pull aside the neck. What do you got there? You got some hickeys. And they're doing damage.
Even Amadi looked good as well.
He looked great for his second game.
That looked like a good 1-2 punch with him and Hick Dog. So
every line, the Swans have got much more talent. Look, and they're looking to the present right now. We can see the Hawks are looking to the future. Swans are looking to the present. They want to bank this win. I'm tipping Sydney 1-39, and that is why I've taken it off for 10 seconds before my feet get too cold. I pulled out this little Ugg boot. I've got myself a little Ugg boot to indicate that it is this week's crack shoe of the week.
Your feet are much smaller than I would have given them credit for.
That's not the only thing, baby.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Desmond does know about that. No. Can you tell us? Can you confirm?
Hey, I can't lift these two fingers up because otherwise I'll take off my my wall.
Bets, what are we talking?
All right, Callum Mills 25 plus.
Easy.
Harry Cunningham 25 plus. He's turned into a disposal pig.
Okay.
25 plus in the last two games.
Pig.
What's that paying?
I can't tell you. Nah, 225. 225.
Interesting.
And he's had it in back-to-back games now. Sydney, for whatever reason, have just decided that he is the guy.
A midfielder.
Yeah, Jordan Dawson. See you later. Whatever club you're playing for next year. All right. It's Harry Cunningham season, baby. And Justin McInerney for 15 plus.
These are some curious off-the-wall picks from you, and I bloody like it, I'll tell you what.
Yep.
I bloody like it. Look, I'm looking at Will Hayward, anytime goal. And that alone was paying, when I last saw, something in the vicinity of like $1.40, even though he's had a goal for
he loves it, He loves it. First goal of the game last week as well. Came out firing instantaneously.
It's always nice, always nice betting on someone. First goal, bang.
Nice and easy. Huge. So I'm liking Hayward anytime goal. Daniel Howe, 15 touches for the Hawks. I know that's a bit of a weird one.
I was going to say, look, you're giving me crap for giving out these curly ones.
No, I like it. I like the curly ones, and I went with curly one myself. Daniel Howe, 15 plus for the Hawks. He's had 16, 17s, 18s like the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, so I back him in to do that. Tom Hickey, 15 touches. That was actually paying a bit, and I think coming up against Ned Reeves, he's going to get to work, big Tommy. Jake Lloyd, Callum Mills, 25 touches apiece, and all of that together is only paying around about $5.40, but I'm feeling very, very comfortable on all of that.
Or maybe you can add your Harry Cunningham leg in and make it a worthwhile venture.
Bump it up.
We shall see. All right, let's have a look at the first game for Saturday, fellas. It's at Optus Stadium. It is the Fremantle Dockers versus the Gold Coast Suns. This one's a massive one in terms of the narrative for both teams' seasons coming in here. On the one hand, Freo. Did you see the Freo game last week?
I saw bits and pieces of the Freo game.
Have you ever seen any sort of old like documentaries of World War One? You know what I mean? The black and white footage, blokes just putting their head up over the top of a trench and getting their scone taken off the top by a sniper.
Is that what you're implying?
Literally what happened to Freo. Those poor blokes, they just were run through the mincer. They injury after injury after injury, and not just little ones either. It wasn't.
I'm not glad about the injury. I'm glad the doggies got up though.
Within the space of about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Sean Darcy went down with a hamstring. Nat Fyfe dislocated his shoulder.
Yep.
And Brennan Cox tore his hamstring at the glute end, which is
that was
that's not good.
No.
All three of them, guaranteed the night before, were sitting around a Ouija board. Guaranteed. It was horrible. I felt so bad.
Freo too. Like Freo are a good. They're just a workman's team.
And they were, at that point in the game, they were not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. Like it was.
No, there was what 16 points down.
It was, it's a bit like you still expected the Dogs to get on top of them, but anything could have happened, and then all of a sudden it was
carnage. I genuinely felt bad for him because it's not just 3 injuries, which for any team 3 injuries during a space of 3 minutes is crippling, but to your best ruckman, to your best midfielder, and to arguably your last best remaining defender in 3 minutes. That's horrendous. You've got to feel bad for the lads, man.
It's horrible, Freo.
Just got to feel bad.
Freo as well. Just tough for the team.
Because you can work your guts out, but if luck goes against you, you're up digger's ditch, and you don't have nothing.
You're down 2 substitutions in how many minutes.
Meanwhile, opposite ends of the spectrum.
Opposite ends of the spectrum now. The Gold Coast Suns are bringing back Jack Bowes.
They are.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Jack Bowes.
Jackie Smacky.
Very important defender for them. He's been in pretty good touch this year as well, so they'll be glad to get him back in the back line. And, of course, a young bloke by the name of Matt Rowell will be returning this week, actually to playing his first game back after he busted his shoulder at Optus Stadium. So I wonder
it was the PCL? Knee. It was a knee.
Was it?
Yep.
Oh, his shoulder was the prior one, wasn't it?
That's shoulder was last year.
PCL, apologies. But it was at Optus. Yep. Interesting. Who do you like here, Dan?
I absolutely love the Suns here. Absolutely love it. We're getting Matt Rowell back, huge. And they're actually the underdogs at the moment. So Des Dog of the Week.
I thought this was going to be your Des Dog of the Week.
I was so close to
The Dan Dog of the Week.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely the Suns. And I am...
Oh, that is naughty.
Locking it up. All right. So they're currently paying $1.94 for the outright win. I like them 1-39. They're just, the Suns actually play good footy when they get rolling. They're just, a little bit up and down, obviously, as you expect with a young team, but getting Matt Rao back, absolutely massive.
Talisman.
Hey, if you take the U, the eel, E and W out of Matt Rao, it's roll, and that's what Gold Coast is going to do. I've got Gold Coast 1-39 as well. I think it's how much of a lifter is it going to be? This team is
huge, mate.
Not in our eyes, and not in anyone who actually watches Gold Coast play footy, but in the general public's eyes, this is the entire Gold Coast team.
It genuinely is, yeah.
Name another Gold Coast player, casuals out there. They can't. They can't. What? Gary Ablett?
No, Daniel Gorringe is gone now.
Yeah,
he's gone now.
Gaz is gone.
Yeah.
Carmichael Hunt does not play anymore.
Rip.
So do you get what I'm saying? So this is going to be such a lifter for them because they're going to love it too.
You Suns as well?
Well, you went Suns, didn't you?
I got Suns 1-39.
We have a consensual consensus on the pod. I'm going 1-39 for the Gold Coast Suns there. I like that a lot. Yeah, look, it's pretty straightforward. Freo's got no one left. It's going to be reliant on a lot of kids and undersized blokes coming in. Blokes like Brett Bewley. Where's he been for this year? Do you know what I mean? That's not
BB.
Unfortunately, Suns too much older and too much more talented in this instance. I think Suns win if they play decisive football. Do you know what I mean? Play like you're the favourite. Go out there with confidence that you're going to win this and play like you're the favourite. Don't be arrogant, be decisive. And don't rely on Matt Rao. Do you know what I mean? That's where you'll come unstuck. Because if they look to him with every single touch and handball like he's Gary Ablett Jr., then all of a sudden that's going to make it real easy for teams.
They don't normally play like that though. He normally goes and gets it. That's the difference between why Matt Rao.
But a bloke like that will just take blokes up on his shoulder and carry him to the promised land. He'll go Darcy Parish.
That's why I think Gold Coast can do well.
And other blokes in the team will lean on that. But I'm liking the emergence of blokes like Hugh Greenwood, Chungus Miller, the big Chungus Fungus Miller. He's had a ripping season outside of his little
indiscretion
migraine.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So I'm liking the fact that these other blokes stepped up. That's what they need to do. Freo to win? I don't know, man. How do Freo win this? Well, look, they've got a lot more experience playing on Optus. If you're Freo, you know how to use the ground because you've played at least 50% of your games here over the years. Play the ground to your advantage. Spread them. Spread the Suns. And just hope that insider trading knowledge is going to be enough to get the job done.
Yep, I can't agree more.
Delicious. Alrighty, fellas. That's 3 games out of scheduled.
Do you have any bets for that game?
So, yes, no.
Come
wow.
on, don't get too excited.
Sorry.
You're teasing me. Naughty.
I'll get through it quick then. Got Chonk Miller, 30 plus.
My man.
Oleg Markov for 20 plus.
I saw that.
I do like it. With Jack Bowes coming back into the team, Oleg will be a bit more freed up to do his thing.
He's going to have a good game.
And I do like Mick Walters for 20 plus in this game as well because I reckon
he's gonna have to go
that he will go into the midfield a lot more.
He's going to have to go in. That's nicely done. Apologies there on skipping the bets. It's very rarely that I say that it came too quickly, but...
You are a dunce.
I am a dunce and a dunderhead. I'm liking Caleb Sarong for 15 touches. If Walters is going into the middle, Sarong's got to go into the middle because that Fife hole is a big hole to fill. Andy Brayshaw, 25 touches. He's been doing that week in, week out. Same with big David Mundfoss. David Mundy, 25 touches there. Brandon Alice for the Victorian supporters amongst us. Lock him in for 20 touches. And then in terms of the goal scoring up front, Josh Tracy had an absolute blinder last week.
Big kahuna.
The big kahuna. Now, Matty Taberner coming back, that either means that he doesn't get a sniff or that the Gold Coast send all of their defenders to sit on Matty Taberner, thus freeing him up. I like Tracy. I think he's in good form. Rory Lobb, big slobby lobby for an anytime goal as well. And jump on Ben King, anytime goal scorer in the second half. For the last 5 weeks straight, he has kicked at least one goal in the second half.
Back ender.
Love that.
That's paying about $8.
Backdoor Ben.
Backdoor Ben.
All right, let's get this over with.
All right, scramble time, baby.
Run us through this. What is going on here?
So, we used to have a 60-second scramble, but I get too excited and I run through all of the questions that I prepared. As I mentioned on previous pods, I just sit and make scramble questions. That's what I do all day. In my Furzy.
When he's not shaving polar bears.
In my Furzy, I just sit and make scramble questions.
Is this donut print?
It's a donut, baby.
That is actually elite. I love that. What have you got?
This is unreal.
90s video games, mate.
Oh, so that's Papu Papu.
Yeah,
from,
Papu. Yeah, a little bit of Blinky Bill playing some PS4 somewhere. It's great. Absolutely elite.
I was born in October 1999. I wish that I could be a 90s kid.
You are,
but
dummy.
I'm just not. I had 2 months in the 90s. I grew up with Crash Bandicoot, but
me and you
it was well past it. Well past it. But anyway, I've got some Winter Wonderland and just some other random questions shuffled into our scramble.
Let's go.
Start now. Bang. Which Adelaide-based player would look good in a donut Furzy?
Who you talking to?
Dan.
Me? A donut Furzy. Darcy Fogarty.
Yeah.
If Darcy Fogarty and I get a photo in our donut Furzies, I'll die a happy man. All right. Who would win down the slide, being the Fight MND freeze slide? Razor Ray or Hasbulla?
Who do I want to see?
No, who would
wins?
slide down faster?
Oh,
Without the race.
Hasbulla. If you don't know who Hasbulla is, look up Hasbulla. That's about the size of Hasbulla there. That football sitting on our desk. Hasbulla is not tall. He is bullet size. Hasbulla would fly down, and he wouldn't go into the ice though.
King.
He would sling off the top, off the edge, and just go into like the third
It's
row.
the crowd.
He genuinely
it's
would.
the crowd. That's
It's an
funny.
ice bullet.
All right. Which Melbourne player wears his Ugg boots to training?
Who's a bit of a slovenly Melbourne player? I reckon James Harms would.
I was thinking Harms.
But I reckon a few of the Melbourne boys would.
I think yeah.
Like moccasins as well. Like you'd see a lot of that. You know what I'm talking about? Like those slipper shoes.
Marty Hall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is a bit cool in Melbourne, so...
I'd rock them. I'll wear them every
I
morning.
reckon Pennywise Oliver. I know that's
Yeah.
not my question, but Pennywise Oliver. If you're running a setup on your head like that, you don't care about what you look like. You're wearing Ugg boots.
That's true. And talking about Ugg boots, what makes the West Coast players most grumpy during winter? Nothing to do with Ugg boots, by the way.
I figured that. It wasn't in the question. Most grumpy during winter. The fact that Shannon Hearn is just churning through all the hot Milos, mate. I can guarantee you he would eat a hot
Milos.
He would have a hot Milo. He would do Milos by the kilo. He would have a hot Milo at night.
Yep.
He would wake up and have Milo in his cereal. That man, Milo.
One of those big tins,
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Pop the lid off.
Yep.
Pour hot water into it.
Yep.
Go to town. Go
Done.
to town.
I like it. Well, and you can't say donut Furzy because that is the obvious question. But what outfit would I wear down the free slide?
You?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You can't say donut Furzy
Ooh.
because that is my new signature look.
See, I'd like to see him in some of the costumes that he's worn over his trips abroad.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him in some native Swahili.
Traditional Swahili
Yeah,
dress.
but he'd get done for cultural appropriation, so you can't do it.
Of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I'm respectful. It's out of love.
But if you've been gifted it
I'm out of
by
it's out of love.
the Swahili tribe and
true.
that zebra tribe that he came into contact
That's
with
right, yeah.
in Zimbabwe.
Did you shave a zebra?
That was literal zebra.
Yeah. Also arseless chaps, just cause.
Done.
That's funny. All right, Rich, which winter movie reminds you of Todd Goldstein?
A winter movie.
Reminds you of Todd Goldstein.
Well, I want to say Frozen because that's instantly a winter movie, but I can't think which character he'd be because he's not Olaf. That's Harry Schonberg.
He's the big
I
moose.
don't know
Olaf
any
is
of the
the snow-
characters.
is the
What's
snow-
the big
right.
moose? Sven the moose.
Sven the Moose would be Goldstein.
Surely the Grinch, because I mean,
That's Christmas,
Yeah,
not
but
winter.
who would like being at North Melbourne?
It doesn't remind me of Goldie.
It does me.
No.
He's been there that long.
Let's agree to disagree.
As I itch my leg, final question. Who would win a tickle contest, Gary Rowan or Ken Henkley? And they're cousins, by the way.
Are they actually?
They're genuine cousins.
That's the stat I've been waiting for all night.
Okay. Ask Gary Rowan's wife, ex-wife, and new lover.
Ooh. Tell him. There it
That's
is.
the easiest way to sort it out.
Holy moly.
Jeepers creepers.
And not the putt-putt place.
Oh my days! What a way to finish! What a way to finish!
I'm sweaty.
A naughty scramble on. Let us,
That has left me shaking.
Matt. We're gonna have to rotate off of this. We got to get straight onto the footy. It's the only thing that can save us
do it.
here. And let's have a look at the Saturday night game, fellas, between the St Kilda Saints and the Adelaide Crows up at Kazali Stadium. Do you know where that is, Des?
Cairns.
Well done. It is in Cairns. Des, who do you like here, mate? Who's winning?
I'm going to be straight out here. I like the Saints. And I'm a Crowies boy through and through. I watched the Crows play the game against Collingwood live, and they definitely should have won that game for a multitude of reasons. Couldn't kick straight. They played better. They dominated in their forward 50 for majority of the game.
Yep.
But one thing that our Crowies can't do is pull the trigger, and unfortunately, well, actually, fortunately for them, St Kilda can't pull the trigger either. But, but, they should have beaten Sydney. 1-6 from Missy Higgins. All these misses, they're going to have a good week. And unfortunately, Crows are going to be the week that they're going to roll through. They're going to kick, watch them kick something stupid like 8 goals straight like Collingwood did. Mm-hmm. They're going to have a good week this week. They're going to get up. They were so close against Sydney. They haven't been close all year really to any side. Like they've got small wins here and there. I know they smashed Hawthorn, but like anomalies happen throughout the season.
Yep.
They're going to roll the Crowies here. Unfortunately, Crows prove us wrong, but like, geez, they should have if they put the Pies away by, even if it was 2 goals, my tip may have been swayed, but not being able to pull the trigger at home, not good enough. It's just not good enough.
We talk about Missy Higgins, just shanking everything that he could have done, just shanking away like he's a convict in the prison showers. And we haven't yet discussed the fact that Tex Walker was the exact same. 2 goals 5, 2 goals 6.
Yeah.
That's no better.
Yep.
That's no better at all.
A fortnight is a long time in football.
It's a bloody long time.
Very long time.
So you said about the Crows winning that game. Everyone looks at, Crows, you got beat by
5 points.
Collingwood.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah, it was 5 points.
Yeah.
But you got beat by Collingwood, who were, 16th on the ladder, something like that. You look like dust. A couple of stats for you, okay, just to give you the idea as to exactly the way that game went. Crows won the disposal count, 357 to 334. They won the handball count. They had more inside 50s. It was 50 to 44 inside 50s. They had more free kicks, more hit-outs, more clearances, more centre clearances, more stoppage clearances, more contested and uncontested possessions. I mean, it was statistically speaking, it was a drubbing. You look at that and you're like, well, this team won. And then you look at the score and you're like, how is this team so bad? And you know what the funny thing is?
Mate. Just can't pull the trigger, unfortunately.
Collingwood had actually less efficiency inside 50 during that game. Collingwood had 20 shots from 44, whereas the Crows had 25 shots from 50. That's less efficient. But too bad. And Jimmy Elliott was the difference there.
Absolutely.
Huge
He
difference.
was unreal.
Yep.
So look, if the Crows are going to be dishing that garbage up, and they're not efficient by foot.
And they did the same against Hawthorn. Like, same thing. Game they should have won. Game they're in control with. They just lose. And that's unfortunate. And it's going to bite them.
Like, I mean, as you said, like there's a lot of problems for both teams at the moment.
Yes.
And a lot of it goes down to efficiency
Yes.
by foot. We all love Ben Keys as a player.
Yes.
Too much hero ball.
Yeah,
he always
time,
wants to do way too much. Like, I love the way he goes about it, but sometimes the easy give, like fourth quarter, Crows players streaming forward down the field, and instead of popping it over the top, he'd turned back into traffic, got caught holding the ball, and Pies went and kicked another goal. It's not quite good enough. I prefer the Crows in this situation, so I'm going to tip them 1 to 39.
I hope he's
Only
right.
because those games against Melbourne and Richmond, they really did show me that they can play properly good football. I think that close loss, Nixie and the coaching staff would have given them a rocket this week. I think that they're just going to be able to get the job done coming off a loss like that.
It's interesting. I'm jumping on the Saints here 1 to 39. It's up at Kazali Stadium where the Crows have not got much experience at all, and this is not really a home away from home for the Saints, but they've certainly played there significantly more than what Adelaide have in the past. I thought Saints were massively disappointing. That accuracy crisis, how often do you see a team sort of then reset the needle the very next week? Do you know what I mean? Like the Crows earlier in the year, to speak of the Crows.
Did they do that after the Geelong game?
No, but this is not a particularly good St Kilda side. But I can't believe that they're going to go 2 weeks straight dishing up such heinous accuracy in front of goal. It's just not going to happen. I tell you who's bloody important to that team, though. They talk about who the most important player in that team is. You might think it's Jack Steele. You might think it's Crouch or Ryder. Mate, Membry. Membry's having a huge season at the minute. I don't want to sound like Scoops, but Membry goes forward, he kicks goals and he's dangerous. He goes back, he gathers his own ball, he feeds blokes, he brings other blokes into the game. That dude is huge at the minute for the Saints. And I feel like they're just clogged with hacks at the minute. Just blokes.
Membry's gone home this week.
Yeah, I know, but
and so is Ross.
No, it's just
they're battling.
I know they're battling. Well, of course Membry's battling. Like he's just a workhorse. But what are blokes like Billings? What are they doing at the minute? What are they doing at the minute?
Nothing.
Getting paid.
A lot of slut touches.
And getting laid. And I don't like it at all. This could be one of the ugliest games in terms of skill that we've seen. Crows had about 73% disposal efficiency last week.
Yeah, they had both.
Saints had 73.
Collingwood and Adelaide were trying to one up each other on who could be the least efficient
One down
with the
each
ball
other.
ever.
Yeah. It's going to be
full time.
It's going to be a slop fest. What are you looking at in the way of bets, or you got the little winning thing first?
Well, no, look, there's not a lot to say much else around this game. I don't think it's a particularly nice way to spend a Saturday night watching this. Who knows, could be wrong. I think if the Saints just rely on experience, because there's just so much more experience across every single line. Rely on that experience. Bring blokes into it. Don't just be hungry and be a stat patter. Bring blokes into it. Do like Membry does. get blokes involved, and it'll make such a difference. And if you outlast this Crows side, I mean, they will get tired. We've seen this week in, week out. Apart from that Melbourne game, we've seen the Crows every week run out of puff at some point.
I just can't see it with all these injuries St Kilda have got.
I hope you're right.
There was chat today that they might not even be able to field a full list of emergencies because they just don't have enough players. That's just not good enough.
I just can't believe in the Crows players at the minute. But look, if the Crows win the clearance game and lock it in the forward 50, look for targets and be precise with foot, then who knows? They could get this done. They could get this done. Yeah, I do have a few bets. Boys, thanks for asking. Look, I'm looking at, I've gone St Kilda in the head-to-head here. They're paying $1.80 or something like that to win in the head-to-head.
I saw it like $1.86.
That's too good for me to pass up in this instance. I'm sorry. So St Kilda head-to-head win. Jack Higgins anytime goal. Jack Steele anytime goal. Jack Steele 25 touches, Brad Crouch 25 touches, and this is the first time that big
the revenge game.
Yeah, the old taxi driver Crouch.
And we love a narrative bet.
Oh, do we
love
ever.
it.
I'm telling you, Crouch is going to go fat in this game. Crouch 25 touches and Rory Sloane 20 touches for the Crows. You put all that together and it's paying just shy of $10.
Nice. I had Rory Laird 30 plus because I think he's going to go spaz in the midfield again. And Riley Thilthorpe, Sweet Chili Thilly. I reckon he's going to have 2+ goals this week.
He's going to be a very good player. I'm
very
excited.
I think he's going to have 2+ goals this week. St Kilda are prone to just letting in as many goals as you're willing to put on the board. And
he's hungry. And
if Tex is out, I can see Thilly getting on the end of a few.
Interesting stuff. Alrighty, let us now go to the exact opposite other end of the country. We go to Blundstone Arena in Tasmania, otherwise known as Bellerive Oval, where the North Melbourne Kangaroos will be taking on the GWS Giants. Now, Dan, what do you like here, mate? Who's winning it?
Look, GWS is going to get the job done here. There's not really a hell of a lot for me to discuss with this game because North and GWS both coming off the byes. I don't really like the way North went into the bye, getting pounded by the Dons. I thought that was a game they could have potentially
been competitive in.
Yeah. Not the case at all. You would expect, though, like a guy like Tom Powell, a bit of a rest would do him some good. But yeah, GWS, they're just going to be too good. They're going to be looking at getting Phil Davis back in this week as well, which is massive for the back line. And I think really they're just going to be looking at that run into finals and hoping to get a few wins on the board to get there.
Well, they're going to have to win this one to make the finals. Oh, I made a big call at the start of the year.
One of about $1 billion, but go on.
And I said that North are going to get their first win in round 13. This is about round 2 when Giants showed absolutely the same heart as Carlton. None. 0.
Bang.
1%.
So surely what you're about to tell us is you're absolutely riding North in this game. You can't go back on it.
I think North can win this game. I think they can. And purely because of the bye. I can't even talk anything like...
GWS just had a bye.
I can't talk about... Yeah, that's what I mean. That the bye bang, baby. That's what I call it, triple B. No, because I can't even think of any way like North wins this game. Like, I can't even think of it. Because Giants are just too good of a side now. They've found their stride. They've found a little bit of heart, found a little bit of ticker. And I feel like that's a fair statement because at the start of the year, there was no ticker. Like, they look like the worst side in the league, worse than North Melbourne. But
you're saying the Giants?
Yeah, Giants.
You're saying the Giants have found ticker now?
Big time.
Okay, so you're happy with the fact that they got pounded and outclassed by the Lions prior to going into the bye? That's all right with you? Doesn't matter?
I'm just asking. Going into that game, I had the Lions, and I was talking about... going into the previous game against Melbourne, I was saying how I respect the Lions because they've been pounding everyone. Everyone's been getting pounded by the Lions. You either beat the Lions or you get pounded by them. There's no in between. So
you're saying that game said more about the Lions than it did about the Giants?
100%.
Okay,
100%.
I'm trying to like...
That's
I'm being like the fan man at the boxing, like Mo when he had the fan pack on, and I'm trying to lift Desmond's beaten, broken, corpseified carcass out of the ring. He's punched himself, right? He's beat him. He's knocked himself out. I'm just trying to get you out of there, man. I'm just trying to get you out of there.
Because I'm being honest here, I'm trying really, really hard, and I'm trying to segue into saying North Melbourne are going to win, but they just can't. There's no analytics. You can't look at footy and go, I back in North Melbourne here because Giants are just a better side. Unfortunately.
So you're saying Giants?
Giants 40
You're
plus.
saying Giants?
Giants 40 plus in Blundstone. That's big. That's going to pay.
I'm saying 1-39 purely because of the Blundstone factor.
25 plus. Boom. Take it back.
Dan, you and I are of a like mind on this one, mate. Giants win this no matter where it gets played. But the fact that it is down in Blundstone, and that is where North have had their one win this year. So I'm thinking if North are any hope to win, go back over the tapes against the Hawks. find and distill from that what it was that made you good that week. Get a few sessions in at Blundstone Arena, get back to your preferred environment where you get the job done. And who knows? Maybe you pull an upset. Wouldn't be the most surprising thing that's ever happened.
As the tech gurus say, Control-C, Control-V, and just spam the V.
Legit, the spam the V.
Big spam.
Stick spam in the V.
Big spam.
As hard as you can. It's not going to happen, though. GWS are winning this 1-39. You said Davis is back. I'm hearing Toby Green's coming back.
That's big.
That's huge.
I'm hearing Green's back.
That's like lock it
up, baby.
If that happens.
I'm hearing that. Blah, 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 blah. The Blundstone thing's interesting. How many times have GWS played at Blundstone?
Twice.
I was going to say the under
would
be
be
2.
Twice. How many times have North played at Blundstone?
Oh, surely in the 20s.
23.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And that's where they also pushed the Demons earlier on this year as well. They gave them a bit of a run down there. So
Who knows? Who knows? Could do something. GWS win if they just prioritise their stars. You got Kelly. You've got Hopper who's having his best season. If you've got Green come back, that's huge. You've got Davis come back, that's huge. Just rely on these stars and you'll get the job done, really. And I don't want to sound like, just make the old blokes do all the work. But weight of numbers there. And if you lock it in the forward line, GWS fellas, and once it gets locked in that forward line, we've seen time and time again this year how North's back line just gets swamped, overwhelmed. They start leaking goals. Yep. And that's what I expect is going to happen here. I do have some bets for the fellas, as Missy Higgins would say. Oh, Missy Higgins did it again. Shit. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. All right, let's have a look. I like Nick Larkey anytime goal. He's been one of North's better performing forwards this year.
One of the most accurate kicks in AFL history.
Genuinely is. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know that?
I didn't. For the worst side of it.
Actually, statistically, one of the best kicks in AFL history.
That's awesome. I like Nick Lucky.
And I expect he'll get a goal this week. I'm thinking Taylor Garner gets a goal this week as well for North. He's in a bit of a purple patch. Speaking of purple patches, you can't go past Aaron Hall for 30-plus touches. He's having his best year bar none in the shin bone of Guernsey this year. In terms of touches, I also like it's the quartet of evil from the GWS side. I'm liking Whitfield, Taranto, Kelly, and Hopper all for 25 touches apiece, and that's paying $14.
I'm going to throw something at you and see if it changes your mind because I got Taranto 30+.
Ooh.
But Lockie Whitfield has played North Melbourne 5 times.
Yes.
Never had more than 20 disposals.
This North Melbourne?
Who's been locking him down?
I don't know. But he has never, ever had more than 20
How many
disposals
did you have Whitfield
in 5 games.
25?
25.
Yeah, he'll get 25.
He's due.
Let me just.
I don't like that.
Lockie Whitfield and I are in tune, right? I'm not a Lockie Whitfield whisperer. Let me have a whisper.
And he was also running laps solo at training day as well.
Who, Whitfield?
Yep.
Some of these ones
wasn't even training with the main group.
Mine's on.
Does that not worry you?
Mine's on, baby.
If he's coming into the game with an injury...
No.
Just give me a sec. 26. Bang. He's getting 26.
Mine's on, baby.
He's getting 26.
But if you don't like it, then drop it. I like it. I'm keeping it. All right. Fellas, typically we would do some sort of a dummy of the week segment here, but for 2 weeks running, it's been quiet on the dummy front. There's been minimal stuff. I mean, you could talk about St Kilda whining about everyone getting stuck into Jack Higgins and calling him Missy Higgins, even if it's valid. You could talk about that. You could talk about the SA government giving everyone the big jerk around in terms of, is the game being played here? Where's it being played? I don't
touch
know.
The ball.
Yeah, could get into it for that. I'm not going to get in for that. I'm not going to be a negative Nelly. All right, I'm going to be a positive Percy this week instead. We're going to do some positive sort of stuff. Going to play a little game. Who's got a pen? You got a pen over there, isn't it? Pen? Anybody? I'm really poorly prepared. I don't have a pen.
We're in the frozen tundra out back at Geelong, mate. There's no stationary out here.
I'm not letting go of my polar bear shed skin.
You might lose another finger. All right, then in that case, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep tally in my head. Going to do a little thing that you fellas can play and you at home as well. The challenge is I've got a heap of quotes that absolutely were said by someone in the AFL sort of landscape. These quotes are all legitimate quotes.
Okay.
The challenge is, can you guess if it was a player, a coach, or a commentator that said it?
All right.
If you guess player, coach, commentator, you get it correct, I'll give you a point. If you guess exactly who it was, I'll give you 2 points. All right?
I like it. I like this.
Interesting.
What is it? How many questions?
We're just going to go. I reckon, look, we'll just punch out a few. See how we go. This. All right. So on the discussion of grand finals at night versus grand finals at day, direct quote, it's basically the same, just darker.
So coach, commentary.
A coach, a commentator, or a player?
Player.
He's gone player. What do you reckon?
I'll say Commentator.
It is 1-0. That's interesting. Can you guess who it was for the 2?
It's basically the same, just darker.
I thought that would just be like a stupid quota player.
It's
that.
BT?
No, it was Jonathan Brown. So you're kind of close because that was something that you can imagine Brownie as a player.
Oh, of course he said that. I was thinking it was going to be a Brizzy player.
Now there you go. So 1-0 at the minute. All right. All right. Now this is going to be a bit of an easier one. At least this will get you on the board here. Quote: I want to kick 70 or 80 goals this season, whichever comes first.
That's a player.
Player,
Well,
yes.
it's absolutely
obviously.
a player.
Can you guess who?
Whichever comes first.
I want to kick 70.
Key forward, obviously.
I want to kick 70 or 80 goals this season, whichever comes first.
Can we have a hint? Is it a past, present player? Present. It's present. I remember it happening. I just don't remember who.
They were a player at the time when they said it.
So it's a past player.
In your own time.
I'll say...
Oh, I don't even know.
I'll say Fraser Gehrig.
Interesting. What do you reckon? Give
I
me
was
something.
thinking G-Train, but I can't say that now, can I?
Come on, Desi. Pressure.
I don't even know. I can't even like. Do you know? I'm thinking someone from Collingwood. No,
I got a backup answer, but
Go, hit me with the backup answer.
Favola.
Oh, you're so close. It's you're not close at all. It's Barry Hall. Barry Hall.
Should have known.
2-1. 2-1. That's fine.
I only thought all I could think of in my head was Travis Cloke, but he hasn't kicked 10 goals in his career.
No. So 2-1 on that one. Okay. Here's another one. All right. Direct quote. Well, either side could win it, or it could be a draw.
So that's a coach.
Has to be a coach.
Both looking in coach?
Yeah.
No, the negatives. No, that was Dermot Brereton speaking as a commentator.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. All right, a few more. You enjoying this so far?
Dumbass Derm.
I hate that I'm down. I hate that I'm down 2-1.
Old Spermit Brereton.
Hate that.
Off centre on that one. Deary me. Okay. I only have 2 words for you, men. Believe in yourselves.
That's the coach.
The coach.
Yeah? You have to go back here. I'll give you a clue because this is a tricky one. You'd have to go back here if you're going to go coaches and VFL as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
VFL.
So for you, this would be any VFL coach you can think of. Any bloke that's ever coached a VFL team.
Yeah, but
I expect Dan to know a bit more.
Do you
Come
know
on.
what? Like, I want to say Ron Barassi, but it's just not Ron Barassi.
It's not
I
Ron
know
Barassi.
it's not.
Can you give me a decade?
No, I can't really. Because he was across a couple. Go back. Go way back. No, pull the pin.
Yeah.
It was Jack Dyer, Captain Blood of Richmond, which
yeah.
very much enjoying that one.
Horrible. Damn it, Jack Dyer.
Okay, I got one more for you. So that was
Footy show logo.
2-1.
Is he not?
Yeah, it is correct. Yeah, no,
2-1.
I think it's 3-2 because you both got that was
Oh, yeah,
a
sorry,
coach.
yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah. No, last. And I've got 2 more. I've got 2 because they're both good. All right.
Give Des a chance to.
Come on, baby.
Direct quote. I think everybody gets caught up in superstitions, but I don't put much stock in them. Knock on wood.
That's a player.
Coach?
It was a player. Well done. It was Jason Ackermanis at Brisbane.
I would never have said the Acker.
Yeah.
Nice.
3 apiece. All right, last one. Here you go. If you can't stand the heat in the dressing room, get out of the kitchen.
It's got to be a coach.
Yeah, it's a coach.
Can you guess which coach it is?
Malcolm
Because you're
Blight.
both correct. It's 4 apiece.
If it's Blighty, I'm going to
It's
be
not Blighty.
upset.
It's not Blight.
Lee
Think
Matthews.
Victorian. Think Victorian.
Oh, no. Mick Moldhouse.
You are so achingly close. It's not funny. I can't allow any more guesses
No,
for myself
house.
there. I don't think you get it because you don't even know who Tony Shaw is, do you?
I know Tony Shaw, but I wouldn't have guessed it.
No, there you go.
Go on, Dan.
4 apiece. I didn't mind that.
He has a big jaw.
Very good.
Big jaw Tony Shaw.
Look, if you got any feedback, I just thought it was just something fun we could run
very
through a
good.
bit.
Nah, I like it. I like
drew.
Something a bit different. You did draw.
I hate draws.
No, exactly.
I hate draws.
Too bad.
So
Boo.
sad.
Boo earns.
All right, fellas, I think we've got about 2 games left.
We do.
2
Two
games to go.
And I'm looking at Sunday night at Optus Stadium. It is West Coast versus the Richmond Tigers. Very, very interesting. Who are you looking at here, Desi? What's going on?
Well, I'm going to make an unusual call here, but it's not going to be the first time in my life. Tigers obviously dominated that 4th quarter. I thought they were going to lose. I was watching that thinking it was over. Like the Essendon train left the station, but Tigers may have won that game, and they kicked a stupid amount. 8 goals in that last quarter? Something stupid, just rapid firing, just literally see them on the speed bag. They were just speed bagging Essendon.
It was the closest 40-point beating I've ever seen.
It was an unreal game for
weird.
what it was.
Yeah.
But that there, I think. Well, I don't think because I cashed out of my bet. I don't think Richmond are premiership contenders anymore. I don't think they are.
Off the back of that game, and you're going to say that.
See, my opinion is the exact opposite, because that was exactly what I wanted to see.
I cashed out.
To show me that they are a premiership contender.
I cashed out a nice amount.
Did you hear that stadium when Essendon drew level or got ahead?
It was an Essendon friendly crowd. It was pro Essendon.
It was unbelievable. It was an absolute cauldron,
St.
mate.
Louis House of Fine Chocolate, whatever they call it, and I was watching it without sound.
You missed it. It was an absolute cauldron, mate. It sounded like there was 150,000 people in there. The fans were going absolutely spacker. The commentators, there was sperm all over the commentary box. It was out of control, mate.
Don't at me. I don't think Bombers are that. I know Bombers have been playing good footy, but I don't think they're that great.
If that's any other team in the competition, you know what happens? They get rolled over.
Yes.
Richmond just like, well, too bad. Nah. So sad.
Bolton, I love Shy Bolton with all my heart. I just don't think they're premiership contenders anymore. I think Melbourne, I think Western Bulldogs, I think they beat them on the day.
Have you seen Jackass, like the first Jackass movie?
I've seen. I love Jackass.
You know when Johnny Knoxville, you should know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I do.
Is fighting Butterbean, right? And Butterbean's just there like pounding away, like just giving him a couple, just keeping him in it. And Knoxville's doing nothing. Knoxville is Essendon in this instance, right? Butterbean's Richmond.
They got Butterbean.
And Butterbean's just goes, just get one in, right? And Knoxville lays one punch, and Butterbean's there. There you go, and then just pounds him into oblivion.
The biggest
that was that fourth
overhand
quarter.
right I've ever seen.
It was huge.
That was that fourth. They Butterbeaned him into death.
Absolutely.
Into purgatory.
Absolutely. And I was the same as you. I thought it was over, but Tigers just went to another level. They just showed me exactly what I wanted to see, because I've been saying it for weeks. Like, I still like them, but
I don't love them.
It's real hard to get behind it when they're playing like crap. That fourth quarter, different level. I
reckon it's the setup. Look, West Coast will take heart from getting that win on the road. They will. They went to Melbourne. Everyone's like, can't travel. And I'm in that boat.
Hey, well,
I was sat here going, can't travel.
Not this guy, mate.
Oh, shut up.
We love you, but it was battle of the no heart.
Yeah.
But in saying that, battle of the no hearts, Carlton got bet in from like $1. They were $1.90 a piece. Carlton got bet into like $1.45, like before the game, because I saw this,
nuffs.
And I was like, what? I was like, what? So I actually won a little bit of money from West Coast winning. Of course, I'm going to bet on that $2.50.
Yeah.
Like it was a 50-50 coin toss. You got to put your money in those smart positions, and like West Coast winning doesn't surprise me. It's $2.50. That might be like dog of the year.
I reckon that was like Mark LeJudice just dropping like 250 grand in a sports bet on Carlton.
And like, again, as we said before, Eagles got the win, but as Big Baby Shonners once said, at what cost?
At what cost, baby?
They're just dropping like flies. They're so injured at the moment. They're just rolling out a bunch of waffle grade players, and that win said more about Carlton to me than it did about the Eagles.
You're bang on.
I do not believe in the Eagles at all.
Just beating Carlton doesn't mean anything.
I think it just leveled the book for them from the week prior, when they should have won at home against Essendon and they didn't.
Yep.
And then they went to Melbourne and they beat Carlton where they probably shouldn't have. You could have, prior to that game, you could have made arguments either which way. And West Coast got a win against the grain. So they'll take heart from that. But who have they got in their midfield? They've got Nat Nui, who's great ruckman, let's be real. Dom Sheed.
Mm-hmm.
They've got an undercooked Yo. Mm-hmm. So undercooked, he looks blue. He's still got feathers on him, right? He's still running around. He's still alive. Gordon Ramsay's pissed at how living Yo is at the moment. That's how underdone he is. And then who else is it?
Yep.
What, Tyson Edwards' kid?
Yep, Jack Redden.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's going on? Whereas as Richmond, like they've got key ins, okay, and those are huge premiership ins.
They're getting stronger week by week.
Week by week, they're getting stronger. And even the blokes they bring in who haven't been traditional Richmond players, they've come in and they're just taking the ball by the horns. Magpies Chol, season form at the minute.
I love Chol so much.
Best.
My favourite
career
player.
Form.
Potentially of all time. If I want to meet Magpies Chol, please watch this.
The only thing with him, he tired towards the end of the game. As the game wore on, he did sort of dip. But early on in the game, he was giving Phillips a bath.
Yep.
An absolute bath.
Callum Coleman-Jones, same deal.
Yep.
That's something that Magpies and I like. I like baths.
Yep. So, and giving other males baths as well. After last week.
Yeah, don't talk about the fingers. Let's leave that last week. Now, look, Richmond just looked too settled for mine here. And the funny thing is, it's now West Coast coming back home after Richmond's been over there for a week, just sunning themselves in lovely old Perth. Mm-hmm. I think the Tigers are just going to go into this one
I don't
feeling
think it matters
calm,
where,
confident.
anywhere.
I can't not tip on the Tigers to win here. 25 plus for mine. Tigers win in this one. 25
Absolutely.
plus. I think West Coast can win if they rely, kind of like Freo. West Coast have got that much experience playing on this ground. Use it to your advantage. Spread the Tigers. Make them work the entire length of the ground. And Essendon weren't experts at playing at Optus. They played great against West Coast that day.
Mm-hmm.
West Coast have got too much experience and knowledge of how to play this ground to its full potential to not use every single bit of it, because you're going to have to when you've got that many outs.
Correct.
Whereas the Tigers win, just play that again. That fourth quarter, how you finish your previous game is how you start your next one. I've always maintained that.
Which means West Coast are about to get a hiding.
Do you know what's tough when you say the only way to beat Richmond is to outwork Richmond? That is like
But
saying...
it is though. Like,
but that's
it
like
genuinely
saying,
is.
for those out there that know who Dave Goggins is, that's like saying, awesome, go and chin up Dave Goggins. Like...
It's not happening.
There's one person in the world that can do it, and I don't know. He's in Russia somewhere.
Is it Hezbollah?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's Hezbollah.
Like,
It
could
outwork
be.
Richmond.
Hey,
Good
Dave
luck.
Goggins.
Like, it can happen, but like, you're not gonna. If that's your one way to beat Richmond, good luck.
How else do you do it?
You can't. For West Coast.
Work
For
harder.
West Coast.
As
Work
I
harder for
said,
longer.
I really can't believe that they have turned you off. That
They're
is exactly
$1.56, right?
exactly
Richmond
what you want to see.
$1.56. The big thing that I've seen, and I've seen it all over Facebook, is that Essendon obviously rolled Eagles. Eagles are going to lose 2 in a row at Perth. Like,
It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
no, but that's the big thing. That's why, like, the media's bumping up this whole, Eagles, they can't lose 2 in a row. I've seen it like 3
Yeah,
or
they
4
can.
times, and I'm like, why do you even care about this team? Like,
They absolutely
they're
can
not
lose 2
relevant.
in a row.
And I think they will.
What do you like in the way of bets?
Bets. I'm liking, and he's back. He's back in form. And this is paying like $1.36. Dustin Martin anytime goal. Like, that's rude. That's a nice multi-fluffer
That is
right
a
there.
Rudy poo.
I'm liking
That's what Rock would say.
Dustin Martin anytime goal. I'm liking your man Jake Hartz anytime goal. Jason Castagna. He's had a couple of quiet ones, but he found himself back in form. He had 3 or so on the weekend. I think it might have been something like that. Yep. He had a minor handful against the Bombers, so I'm backing him in to keep that one going. And Shai Bolton as well, anytime goal. He's from the West. He liked it over there last week.
Been on form. He looked great. He was unreal in that fourth quarter. He's the one that started it.
He did. He certainly did. So Bolt's anytime goal. In terms of touches, I want to stay with Bolton, 20 touches. Jaden Short, 20 touches. And Dom Sheed, the lone hand there for West Coast. 25 disposals for big Dom. That's paying about $11 with a boost.
I had Jaden Short 25 plus because I looked at 20 plus. It was about $1.25.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, 25 plus $2.25.
That's rude.
That's massive
That's big
value.
rude. Big
massive
$2.25.
value. And Noah Bolter 15 plus. For some reason, he started getting his hands around the pill a lot, and I love it.
No, delicious. Delicious. Okay, last one. Last game of the round. And
Speaking of delicious.
Speaking of delicious, it's the big one. It's the Queen's birthday game. And we are, of course, this evening wearing not just Fursies, but we've got on our Fight MND hats.
It's a generational.
Beanies,
the
apologies.
generational Fight MND, we are.
Absolutely.
From old to young.
Absolutely it is. And look, chuck them a few bucks. You know what I mean? The Cobs are trying to do good work, raising a bit of money.
Good.
Buy a Fight M&D beanie. Buy a Crom beanie. I think they go to the same place, do they not?
They do.
There you go. Buy a
Buy
beanie.
both. Buy both. We got both.
Get involved.
It's winter.
Get
warm.
They're actually, and this year the beanies are unreal. Like, I'm not throwing shade at all, but the beanies last year they were a bit thin around the side. This year, unreal.
Love it.
Get involved. And we've got, of course, Melbourne Demons versus the Collingwood Magpies to round out your round 13 on a Monday, being played at the SCG because Melbourne is, bless up, still battling away. Sensible Dan, talk to me here. Who's winning?
Demons are winning this. They're borderline unstoppable at the moment. They're just like that. Realistically, they probably shouldn't have lost that game against the Crows. We chalked that up as an aberration.
Got the crumb.
They are flying, absolutely flying right now, and I can't see Collingwood stopping them. I think the D's biggest problem is the bye week. Is that going to stop the momentum?
Momentum killer, yeah.
That's the only thing I can see was a problem with this team because they're just flying. They'll get Ed Langdon back this week as well, which they didn't even really miss Ed Langdon, but coming back in, that's a big in. So, Pies didn't really rate them on the weekend. They got the win, but...
Well, I went through those stats. They lost every single key statistic between the teams. Apart from the one that matters, they just kicked more points.
They had every single right to lose that game. The one thing I did like was seeing Pendlebury on halfback. He actually looked pretty much at home there. I thought he played quite well.
He did, and live too. Yep. Watching him live, He helped out all the other defenders as well.
Yep.
Quaynor, shout out to Quaynor. He played a great game. He
Yep.
played a
He
ripping game. I don't know if
He's
it's
emerging. Quaynor
He's
for the
very,
Pies.
very
Pies
good.
have got one there.
The Pies have got some good young talent. There is some young players there who can play football, but they're just, as you would expect from a young team, a couple of years away from being super consistent. But yeah, look, Melbourne, I've got them. I can't decide between 1 to 39 and 40 plus. I don't think the Pies are going to get absolutely thrashed, so I'm going to say 1 to 39. But
They won't be as accurate as they were against the Crows.
Well, they weren't accurate.
Shout out to Poulter. Poulter was unreal. They were like 9 goals or 8 goals straight. But Poulter's goal from outside 50.
Unreal.
Biasco? Is that the young fella's name?
Bianco,
Bianco. Biasco. Why am I thinking Biasco?
Tabasco.
Poulter's ability to find space is ridiculous for a kid that age. He just finds it everywhere. They're always looking for him as well. It's crazy.
I bought into the hype a little bit, but after watching him live and being like, far out, who's this kid?
And a great mullet. And a great SA boy.
And a really long neck.
We love that.
Real long neck.
He's got a long neck.
He's a beanpole, but
Rumour has it that
Nothing wrong with
Caleb Poulter can drink a beer and gets drunk a week later. That's how long that neck is.
I have heard that.
That's the rumour.
I have heard that.
I don't know what to say. Look, this one's pretty straightforward, folks, to round out the round. Demons look insatiable. This is just another easy kill for them. Just another box to check on the road. Sorry.
It is what it is.
Where's the flaws? Where's
It
the
is
holes?
what it is.
Where's the holes in this
Zero.
team?
Zero at all. None.
Where's the holes in the Collingwood team?
Come back from not the dead, but they come back from a tough spot against the Lions, and the Lions are a lot better than Collingwood. They Demons have Essendon at the MCG. Maybe potentially they'll more than likely that'll be moved. I don't know what the COVID situation is going to be like in 2 weeks. No one does, but they've got Essendon coming after this bye. I don't see any momentum being stopped from the bye.
No.
I feel like this is just going to be another step in the ladder towards
A premiership.
I think
that chat of momentum being shredded, losing to the Crows, that guts your momentum. Because not only did you lose, but you lost to a team that's in the doldrums. Now, if they could then turn the other cheek the very next week, put the foot down, and absolutely burn the Dogs, I'm really not worried about the bye stopping them after this. I think they win this one easy. I think they win the next one easy. I'm sorry, no Grundy. If Grundy's not playing again, then geez, Gawn is just gonna go stupid. He's gonna go Thanos mode in the middle, and there'll be no stopping him.
it'd be nice to watch. Actually, it's good to watch Gorney go Thanos.
And you know what the problem with is now with the Pies? Elliot had a few goals, and all of a sudden it's going to be, let's just look to Elliot. Elliot will save us. Help me, Elliot. Save me, Elliot. It's so easy to man up on a 5'6" full forward. That's what it's going to be playing. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He was just
I'm
so
sorry.
fast.
How do they win then?
Well, I've
we
written
are
down
running
Melbourne to
on
win.
time
Melbourne
here.
can win if I wrote yes, and then I wrote Pies can win if, and I wrote no, and that's pretty much all I've got on this one. It's just so
I think that
redundant.
That's
I'm
pretty
sorry.
fair.
I'm
D's
sorry.
25 plus. Bang.
that's a bit fair.
Bets wise, I've got Christian Petracca 25 touches. I've got Christian Salem 25 touches. Jack Crisp 25 touches. Caleb Poulter 15 touches. And James Jordan 15 touches. Jimmy J. And for goals, I've got Jamie Elliott anytime goal and Christian Petracca anytime goal. Some big old multi to end out the round. That's paying about $13.
Love it.
Nice. I would add Pendle's 20 plus because he looked alright off halfback last week. I think they've sort of found his role. And did you say Oliver 30 plus?
No.
He will go spare. If Laird and Keys went absolutely spacker last week, then Oliver is in for a monstrous day.
No Greenwood, no one's stopping him.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Fellas, everyone listening on the potty, on YouTube and around the world, thank you very much for joining us for this round 13 show for AFL season 2021. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and thanks again to Furzy for kitting us out in this warm gear. I've never felt so toasty. I might not take this off.
I genuinely love this.
I mean, it's about -4 out here, and I'm sweating. That's how warm I feel.
Yeah,
I love
beautiful.
this.
I might wear this to work tomorrow.
I reckon
I
I
might
might.
wear it to work for the rest of the week.
I might put in an application to ScoMo, National Furzy Day.
Could do so. Like and subscribe button, please. In terms of the bets and everything, please remember that this is not financial advice. If you take any of these bets on, you do so at your own risk. Gamble responsibly. Donate to MND. Buy a Furzy Armchair 10. That's your promo code. And
Find us on Instagram at ArmchairAD, Facebook, Armchair Advisors, Twitter, ArmchairAD, and also YouTube, which you're probably already watching. But tell your friends.
tell your friends.
Get us around.
Spread the love.
We shall see you next week. Take it easy. Woo!